Hello everyone, welcome here to Musicians Edition. I'm Evan and we are on the piano here in this one. In this video I'm continuing my series that has been covering scale degrees and chord progressions. If either of those are new for you, I really recommend you check out some of my previous videos. This is going to go beyond the introduction here and dive into slightly more advanced chord progressions. So here are our 7 scale degrees. Hopefully these are familiar for you. What we have here is our 1 through 7, and what we've covered up until this point as far as chord progressions go is the pretty common ones. And those common ones really include any combination of 1 going first and then 4, 5, 6 in some order following. So that's going to include the ever so common 1, 5, 6, 4. After that we have the 1, 6, 4, 5. There's also the 1, 4, 6, 5, the 1, 5, 6, 5, all super common. You can find hundreds of songs that are popular that use those chord progressions, and they work. They are so common because they work and they are solid foundations. If chord progressions are new to you, that's clearly going to be a good place to start to get the idea behind scale degrees and chord progressions. So that's what we did start there. We're going to talk about some more outside of the norm chord progressions here today. And to do that, we're going to look no further than our 2, 3, and 7 chords. So those are the 3 that we're missing in that 1, then 4, 5, 6. So let's go ahead and look at some of those. We're going to look at some progressions that use them and some common songs that use them and why they still work. So we're not going too weird or too abstract with this one. We're still going to look at standard 1, 3, 5 triads. We're going to keep it all within a key instead of breaking out of it. We're not going to add in sevenths, additions, sus chords, anything like that. Those are ways we could spice up our progressions, but we're going to keep it relatively basic here, not push our theory too far to make it so frustrating, but this should be a good step up from just relying on any kind of formulaic progression or those common chord progressions you might feel you are falling into. And what we're going to get here is find nice chord progressions that can help us fit a certain mood and break us out of the norm, and we'll get some surprising and more dramatic effects out of them. So we're going to look at 2 major progressions, 2 minor progressions. Let's jump on over to the piano and take a look. All right, so we're going to start ourselves off with our 2 major progressions. We're going to play all these just with all the white keys. So for major, we're going to play in C major. For the minor, we're going to play in A minor, just so we can get the idea down without having to think about sharps and flats. So we're going to play these 2 progressions in C major. So let's go ahead and look at our chords in C major. For our 1 through 7, our 1 is obviously going to be C. You know, just keep on going up. Our 2 is D, E, F, G, A, B as the 7. So we're just filling out those chords here. So C major chord, and for all these we're just playing every other note starting from the root. That's what we're going to see for all these. D minor is our 2, E minor is our 3, F major our 4, G major the 5, A minor the 6, and B diminished is our 7, our really tension bringer there. And this can go down as well as up, so we can find B here and play that 7 chord there, A here, play our 6 chord there as well too. Just kind of go to whatever's closest or whatever feels right with all these. So those are our 1 through 7 chord options, and our first major progression is going to be a 1, 2, 6, 4. A 1, 2, 6, 4 is used in a few different songs. I recognize it from Halo by Beyonce as well as Stay by Rihanna. Both those actually play in A major. We're going to play this one just in C so it's easier to visualize here. But that 1, 2, 6, 4 is going to be a C, D, and then we're going to work our way down to the 6, which is A, and finish it off on the 4, go down 2 more to F. So I'm going to play just root notes down here with my left hand while my right hand is going to play out these chords. So again, a 1, 2, 6, 4. Let's play it, then we'll talk about it a little bit. There's our 1, 2, 6, 4. Let's hear it one more time. All right, that is our 1, 2, 6, 4. What we have here is a balance of minor chords that ends with the 4. That 4-to-1 resolution is very common. That's in the ever so common 1-5-6-4. And really what we're doing is just taking that 1-5-6-4 and swapping in that 2. And what we get with that 2 is we get an extra minor chord. And so I think we get, so we get, starting with that major tonic, we get 2 minor chords along the way, and then that 4 at the end I think sounds really triumphant. So we kind of battle through these 2 minors, finish on that triumphant 4, which resolves itself back into the 1. That 4-to-1 resolution is that church resolution, which is really nice, very common there. And we end up with a balance of 2 major chords and 2 minor chords. So here that is one more time, our 1-2-6-4. Again, from Halo, from Stay, Rihanna and Beyonce. Here it is. There's our 1-2-6-4. We're going to go ahead and look at our next one.
This lesson is brought to you by the Musician's Edition practice book. Make goals and keep track of progress throughout the whole year. When you're done with this video lesson, don't forget to mark this practice time in your Musician's Edition practice book. Now back to the video.
In our next one, we're just going to sub out one of those. It's pretty easy here. We're going to sub out that 2 and turn it into a 3 and see what kind of a difference we get. So this is now going to be a 1-3-6-4. Again, a major chord progression. We're going to look at it again in C major. Our only change is swapping out that D for an E. So we're going to get 1 with C, 3 with E. Work our way down again. 6 is A, and the 4 is F. So let's go ahead and play this out and think about the differences, how it sounds and feels different from that 1-2-6-4. Some song examples for this. The Office theme song is this one. She's Electric by Oasis. Oasis has a few songs that use this actually. Sam Smith, I'm Not the Only One as well too. My favorite one is Bad Religion by Frank Ocean uses this one. That one uses an E major, but we're going to go ahead and play it out in C. Here it is, our 1. Jump up to our 3. Go down to the 6. And finish again on the 4. Let's hear that one more time. All right, so what we have here is, again, 2 minor chords and 2 major chords. We again have the 4-to-1 resolution at the end and 2 minor chords along the way. We're just swapping out that 3 for the 2. The 3 is playing 2 of the same notes as our tonic, so I think it feels more familiar and a bit less movement there, less tense as well too. So that's kind of the differences that we're seeing here, swapping that 2 for a 3. Because we're playing C, E, G, and all we do is we just slide our hand over, still play E, G, but we're just adding in B here when we play this E chord. So it sounds more familiar, less straying away from the tonic so quickly. So here this is one more time, our 1-3-6-4. All right, and that is going to finish us off for our major chord progressions. So that is our 1-2-6-4, our 1-3-6-4. Let's go ahead and look at some minor chord progressions. And so for the minor chords, we're going to look at A minor, which is the relative minor of C. It's going to have all the same notes. We're just going to be playing all the white keys. So our 1 is now A, our 2 is now B, 3 is now C, 4 is D, 5 is E, 6 is F, 7 is G, and we're back at A. So let's look at our chords. We're going to be playing every other note. So our 1 chord is that A minor. Our 2 chord is that B minor diminished. 3 chord is C major. 4 is D minor. 5 E minor. 6 F major. 7 G major. Same exact chords that we just played in C major, but they are just moved around. Just different numbers in this one. So let's go ahead and look at our first progression. We're going to look at what I think is the most popular minor progression in pop music. Most pop music is played major because they want to keep it happy, but the most popular minor progression, I believe, is the 1-6-3-7. The 1-6-3-7, you might recognize it from All of Me by John Legend, Linkin Park Numb, Love the Way You Lie by Eminem and Rihanna. It's really supposed to be an emotionally resonant progression. What we get with this 1-6-3-7 is in a minor scale, the 6, 3, and 7 are our 3 major chords. So we just start with the minor and then we go big with major, major, major after that. So pretty emotionally resonant because of that. So let's go ahead and hear how this one's gonna sound. Again, sticking with A. So let's find our 1, our 6, our 3, and our 7. Our 1 is gonna be A. Our 6, we're gonna go down 2 to F. Our 3, we're gonna jump up to C. And our 7, we're gonna end up on G. And when we play out those chords, we're gonna get A. We're gonna go down to the 6, which is F major, up to the 3, which is C major, and that 7, which is G major. So let's go ahead and hear this whole thing out together now. Let's go one more time. All right, so there's that one there. What we do here again is we start with that minor chord, we go big with that major, and then we come back up to C, which is actually hitting our relative major along the way, which sounds a lot like the A. It has the C and E just like A has, just playing it up higher as a major here. And then we finish off on that G, which feels like a nice, really big chord again before we have it resolved back into our A minor there. So starting with that minor and going with our big major, back to our relative major of C major, and one final big major chord gets us that emotionally resonant progression. So let's go ahead and play it one more time. Here it is with our 1, 6, 3, and 7. All right, so again, that one's from All of Me. That All of Me does play it in F minor, but again, that's the look at A minor, so we can just play it nice and easy with those white keys. Let's go ahead and finish with our last progression for today. All right, our last minor progression, we are gonna look at a 1-7-6-4. A 1-7-6-4 is a nice way we're gonna be descending down. I really like those descending kind of progressions. This is from Lights by Ellie Goulding, Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd, among others. A good way to descend down again, and what we're gonna have is a bit of a surprise where we jump over the 5 and land on 4, because we're playing 1, 7, 6, skip the 5 and end on 4. So what we end up with here is a minor progression. We're starting on A, our 1. We're gonna work our way down. 1, 7, 6, 4, ending on D. And what we get is a bit of a surprise because we're skipping the 5 and jumping straight to the 4. So you might expect 1, 7, 6, 5, but we actually skip that 5 and end up on the 4. So let's go ahead and play this one out, starting with our A1 chord, and we're just going to keep on descending down. So 1, down 1 at a time to G now, down 1 more to F, make that bigger leap to D. Let's hear it one more time. Okay, so what we have going on here is we start with that minor chord, we get our 2 majors midway, and then we end on that pretty strong 4 chord, which is another minor. So this is another balance of minors and majors, just flipped from what we were looking at with those major progressions. Those major progressions we were doing were major, minor, minor, major. This we got it flipped, we're doing minor, major, major, minor. So we have a good balance here. And we have, again, a 4-to-1 resolution now in this minor scale. So let's go ahead and look at this one more time. So starting with 1A. One more time. I really like these kinds of descending progressions, and I think this is a great example of one that works really well in that minor progression. So we've looked at all 4 of ours here. Again, our goal trying to break away from just using the 1, 4, 5, and 6. I think we've done that here. We've seen some good ones. We've looked at our 1, 2, 6, 4, our 1, 3, 6, 4, our 2 major progressions. And we just finished with our 2 minor progressions, 1, 6, 3, 7, and the 1, 7, 6, 4. So that is it for us here today. Those are our chord progressions. I hope you now have a better understanding of scale degrees and a wider variety of chord progressions that you can use. Go ahead and try these out, move them around to different keys and play around with them and see how they work for you. And of course, always try to sub in different kinds of chords in any of those spots as well too, to come up with your own and make them more you. So stay tuned for more on chord progressions, scale degrees, all that good stuff. Have fun playing, and we will see you next time.